This is the last Sunday of the year. And all year long, our theme has been emergence. 12 months ago, we began this idea of what is it that we seek to see in the world, and what are the seeds that we need to plant in order for that which we desire to actually show up in a few months or in future years. So this entire year, when you think about it, we set an intention for love. We planted the seed for love. We planted the seed for love to show up and for us to demonstrate love in so many different ways, so that we could come to the end of the year and be excited about all that we have experienced. Even the hard stuff, even the things that were really difficult but were necessary in order for us to grow or to change, we have been focused on emergence, emerging into the best life possible, emerging our individual lives and our collective lives. And then in December, this theme of emerging has really been woven in with the different holidays. And so the first Sunday, we looked at really letting the light in and looking at this entire holiday season as something that isn't really a happy time for a lot of people. But we want to let the light in so that we could be able to empower both love and light to emerge as we closed out the year. The second week, it was emerging love. How is love emerging through what was going on at the beginning of the month? The third week was the emergence of the cosmic light. And building on the symbolism of the solstice and other pagan and Wiccan traditions during this season. And then, of course, last week, the coming of or the emergence of the cosmic Christ. The coming of the cosmic Christ, the emergence of Christ consciousness. And I hope that this month, as we have been doing that you have been able to think about and see reflected in your own life this idea that we are constantly emerging. We have been readying ourselves for what is next. So the emerging beloved community, I was like, oh, that'll be so great. That'll be so great because for some of you, I know, I'm not going to point any fingers, but I know some of you study science of mind and you think it's all about you. Some of you think, oh, yes, these principles are really important and they're really great, and my life has been changed. And I use these principles and I have the most magnificent life. All my friends are jealous and I know it works because it works for me. Now, all of that may be true. However, these principles are not just about you as an individual having a good life. One of the reasons that we practice together and that we celebrate together and that we take classes and that we do all these things together is because we know that these are universal principles that work both on an individual level and on a group level, and we are about creating community. Because there are certain ways we can never experience the principles of science of mind or the universal spiritual principles unless we are in relationship with other people. Applying them in my life is really easy as long as I stay home and you don't bother me. but in relationship with other people, whether it's our immediate family or whether it is our spiritual community or the people we work with or the cashier at Walmart or Costco. Are we living the principles? So I thought it was really cool that I was given the opportunity to bring together all of this emerging with the idea of how are we emerging as a beloved community? How are we, in what ways are we emerging together to have a better life as a community, and how our community then impacts the world, Dallas, Texas, and the world. And then on top of that, it's on the last day of Kwanzaa. Oh, I'm like, yes, Dr. Petra, yes, yes, yes. This is the perfect Sunday for me. Because Kwanzaa, for those of you who have been exposed to Kwanzaa, you probably already have recognized this. There is so much about Kwanzaa that is about community. It is a celebration that is based in culture, and the culture it's based in from African traditions is community-based. That individuals excel and achieve and shine, and not instead of or not only. And it is all in support of or in service to the community thriving as well. And so we're going to dive into that over these next few minutes because I want to. Because I want to, and I have the microphone today. So I'm going to make an assumption, and I'm going to tell you it's my assumption. So if it is not true for you, then take a deep breath and kind of hang with us, because it will be true for you 25 minutes from now, if it's not true right now. So I want to honor, and I want to explore and honor how we have been emerging together and how we are already demonstrating the principles of Kwanzaa. So many of you know that there are 7 principles, the Nguzo Saba, the 7 guiding principles of Kwanzaa. And whether you know those principles and can recite them or not, you, as part of this community, have been living them. And so our process over the next 15, 20 minutes is to get in touch with how we are already applying Kwanzaa, so you can stop saying, I don't know anything about Kwanzaa, it doesn't have anything to do with me. Well, I don't know anything about it. I don't know anything about those. I don't live those. Stop it. If you're living universal spiritual principles, you are actually living and experiencing and planting the seeds for the 7 principles of Kwanzaa. So, I have a cheat sheet for you. And I'm going to leave this up the whole time so that if I'm talking about one, or people are sharing about one of them, and you really are like, I don't know that makes sense to me, or that I've been demonstrating that one, you can be looking at the others to find the ones that you are demonstrating. So what you can see on the screen and on the chart is that I've matched each of the principles, the guiding principles in Swahili, which are part of the Nguzo Saba, the 7 guiding principles of Kwanzaa. In the middle column, it defines what that is, in case you don't know Swahili, so you don't have to pull out your phone and do a translate. And in the third column is the universal spiritual principle that we're going to match it to. Are you with me? Okay, so Umoja is day 1 of Kwanzaa. And Umoja is fabulous because it's easy to say and it's easy to remember. So repeat it after me, Umoja. It's one of the easy ones. And it really just means unity. And in the way that it means unity, it's really connected to how we talk about oneness. Because oneness is not sameness. Oneness does not mean we are all the same. Oneness means that each one of us and everything else that has been created is connected to, is one with that which created it. And because the same creator created Candy and Glinda and Jackie and Tom and every person in this room, I'm connected to you because we've been created by the same source and we have and share certain qualities and attributes. That's what oneness is. Right? Oneness. I am one with the one. And unity is like that in the context of Kwanzaa because unity means that we are different from one another, but we understand that I don't exist without you, you don't exist without me, and we are united in our moving our culture forward. So in the context of CSLDallas, I think about this umoja, or this unity showing up when we are doing spiritual practice together. Maybe you come to Wednesday night meditation or Sunday evening meditation online with Dr. Petra. Maybe you've been to a retreat where we are practicing that connection and reconnecting again with that which unites us, not as a task to do anything, but simply to remind ourselves and reinforce that we are one community all together. So I'm going to invite you, if you're able to, and you feel like this year of 2023, you have participated in things at CSLDallas that represent unity or umoja. I'm going to invite you to stand up if you are able to do that. Did you contribute in any way to this unity at CSLDallas? Yeah, look around if you're in the front. And so I'm going to invite you to repeat after me this affirmation if you are standing. My spiritual practice serves me and this community. My spiritual practice serves me and this spiritual community. Take a breath. Take it in. And you may be seated. Kujichagulia. No, I'm not going to ask you to say it after me because I know you don't want to say it wrong. Kujichagulia. It's really not hard to say. It's very rhythmic, so you can say it to yourself. Kujichagulia. Actually, you can make a little song out of it. It's a beat. Like Ryan, give me a beat, right? Kujichagulia, Kujichagulia. But that's how you learn it, right? Play with it. But it means self-determination. It means that as a group, in this case, as CSLDallas, as a part of our culture, we take it seriously that we get to determine where we're going and how we go together. So I think about there's a Khan or African Adinkra philosophy symbol called Fawahodie. And it reminds us that where we have freedom, there is responsibility. And the spiritual principle that goes with Kujichagulia really is freedom. Not freedom from, but the freedom to show up, the freedom to make a difference, the freedom to determine who we are and how we are, and that with that comes responsibility. And so when I think about that freedom, I think about people at CSLDallas who raise their hand and say, yes, I will be a leader, a team leader, or take on the role of staff, or people who volunteer and they're in service, helping to shape this community. So if you are a volunteer on a CSLDallas volunteer team, or if you are an elected leader serving on the core council or the vision core or the stewardship core, right? If you are one of our leaders or core key volunteers, please stand. And if you are online, put in the chat, that's me, I'm a leader, or yes, right? And again, look around. Because this community does not become what it is simply because Dr. Petra wakes up and has an idea, right? It is because of everybody who's standing, who is in leadership, and who is taking responsibility. So if you're standing or if you're online and you put in the chat, yes, that's me, then I invite you to repeat this affirmation. CSLDallas can only get better because we define our path together. CSLDallas can only get better because we define our path together. Take a breath. You may be seated. And that is Kujichagulia. Kujichagulia. Ujima, collective responsibility. It means that we do take responsibility together and we take care of each other. So, Kujichagulia, determining kind of the big picture and the focus, yes, but the caring, the compassion, the being responsible for what happens. And that, for me, is the connect to what we teach in spiritual principle around harmony. Because harmony is not what many people outside of science of mind think. Like, harmony means, oh, we'll just all get along. Like, there'll never be any conflict. We'll never say anything that upsets anybody. I'll just suck it up, and I'll be the martyr, and I'll be miserable, but we're getting along, right? That's not harmony. Right, that is a lot of other things, but it's not harmony. Harmony means you have people who are different from one another, who think different things, who have different experiences, and they collectively they individually take responsibility to collectively create something new or build something strong, like CSLDallas. And when I was reflecting on this past year, or this year that is just ending, there are many examples, but the example that just kept coming up for me was our leadership lab that many of you know about. We did a leadership lab for about 35 people who are in leadership roles in our community, and it was all about facing racism. Not facing racism like you might read about it in the news, but facing the fact that we are a multi-ethnic, multicultural, spiritual community. And people have different experiences in their lives that are affected by many different things, one of them being race and ethnicity. And we had a group of leaders who said, we're going to dive into this. We're going to learn not only about everybody else's culture, but learn more about my own and see how does that impact the way I lead? How does that impact the experience that different people have when they come in here on a Sunday or a Wednesday or attend a retreat? And it was amazing. So if you participated in the leadership lab facing racism, please stand. And if you're online, again, put in the chat, me, I was there, I did it, I did that. I did the facing racism lab and I survived it. Did not kill me to talk about race and ethnicity. So I have an affirmation for you because that is one example of the kinds of things that we have done this year to plant the seeds so that we can emerge as a community where there is harmony, honesty, and harmony. So here's your affirmation. I will continue to learn about the ways culture affects relationships in my community. I will continue to learn about the ways culture affects relationships in my community. Take a breath. And you may be seated. And everyone who did not stand, I'm going to say to you, you may have other ways that you have contributed to harmony being right here, a part of the culture of CSL Dallas. And I don't want to ignore your contribution. But this one group of people is having such an impact that we are going to repeat the lab again for new people, for other leaders in our community in 2024. Okay, so Umoja, Kujichagalia, Ujima, Ujama, cooperative economics. So if you have donated financially to CSL Dallas in the past 11 and a half months, if you have sought out someone who is a community member who owns a business or has a product, if you have purchased art from one of our artists of the month, if you are contributing to money flowing within CSL Dallas and CSL Dallas having the financial support it needs to provide all the programming that you participate in, then I invite you to stand up or online, raise your hand, because that's what cooperative economics is. It means I support financially that which I care about. It means that I am making decisions and using my money to support other people in my community who have businesses or who are trying to raise money for something for the community. You are supporting Gooch Elementary because CSL Dallas supports Gooch Elementary. So are you ready for your affirmation? All right, let's use, I love this one. Repeat after me. I am proud to say my money goes to support CSL Dallas and CSL Dallas members. I am proud to say my money goes to support And CSLDallas members, woohoo! Take a breath, let it sink in, let it marinate, and then you may be seated. We are using these affirmations because so much of what I've already highlighted, you're just doing. People are doing. You're doing it because either you think you're supposed to, or it's just convenient, or somebody asked you, or you thought it would be fun. But what you are doing is you are helping CSLDallas emerge into its best possible way of being. And I don't know if you realize that. I don't know if you understand that it makes a difference. You make a difference just by showing up. And so the next principle of NIA is about purpose. And when I think about purpose, it is best represented in the law of growth. The law of growth, which reminds us that we are always growing. There is no stagnant nature of God, of spirit. And so what we want to do is grow in alignment with the purpose that we have set. That which we say is our purpose, we are radically inclusive, spiritually progressive, and transforming lives. That is our purpose as a community. And so how do we demonstrate that? We learn about these principles we teach. We take classes. We are actually engaged in growing CSLDallas. We share those Facebook and Instagram posts so that other people can know about who we are, and if it is in alignment with them, they can join us. That is living the purpose. And so if you have taken a class this year, if you have shared a Facebook post or an Instagram story so that others will know about what we're doing here, you are standing in our purpose without even knowing it. You might have thought, oh, I'm going to take self-mastery because I want to learn something about mastering myself. But in so doing, you begin to demonstrate at work or in the community our principles, and you become the representation of who we are. So if you've taken a class, if you've shared posts, if you've done something that you feel represents the purpose of CSLDallas, please stand, or online put in the chat, because so much of what we do we forget. We forget it's bigger than just us. So take a breath. Here's your affirmation. The law of growth inspires me to learn more and share frequently. The law of growth inspires me to share more. Inspires me to learn more and share frequently. Take a breath, take it in. Okay, 5 days down, 2 principles to go. Kuumba. Today is the 6th day of Kwanzaa. Kuumba, creativity. And creativity in the sense of exploring and showing the best of the culture or the community that you are a part of. Kuumba in the sense of, a lot of times we think of it as dancing and singing, but it's any way that the beauty of this culture or this community shows up. And so There's so many ways that we do that here at CSL Dallas. We're seeing and growing the beauty of our people. We have circles of life, circles that focus and allow different people. We have groups that are creating ways to explore our teachings. So if you're a part of Dinner Friends or a Circle of Life, or you are even maybe a part of a Sangha, and definitely if you've been an Artist of the Month or coordinate Artist of the Month, please stand. Because you are part of making Kuumba come alive at CSL Dallas. There is no limit, repeat after me, there is no limit to what can emerge when the creative process is used intentionally. Okay, I am not going to call out my musicians. I'm like, I'm not calling them out. I'm not calling them out, but yes, now they're standing. Thank you. So, Brad, that means you too. Repeating after me, there is no limit to what can emerge when the creative process is used intentionally. Yes. Take a breath, let it soak in, and then return to your seat as we go into day 7. And many of you tomorrow will remember this because you will be here, right here, online, or in the physical on campus for our burning bowl ritual and ceremony. But day 7 of Kwanzaa is Imani, faith. And it would be easy to say, oh, well, yeah, one of our principles is faith. We believe in faith. We have faith. Faith is important. But that's not the principle that I match Imani or faith to. Because when we say faith, the question is, what do you have faith in? And what you have faith in is that the law works. That the law is going to work for you, for me, for this entire community. And so the match in spiritual principle is the law, spiritual law, reliably working to deliver on the intentions that we set. And that's what allows us to emerge at the end of this year and get ready for a new year better than we started in January. And so knowing that the law works does require us to take classes, to learn more, and to take risks. But I'm just going to, instead of giving you categories, I'm just going to invite you to stand. If you feel you have used the law intentionally in 2023 in support of CSL Dallas. And if you have, please stand and repeat after me. I am improving myself and demonstrating the principles CSL Dallas teaches. Demonstrating the principles. I am improving myself and demonstrating the principles that CSL Dallas teaches. Take a breath. And let's anchor this in. You may be seated. Kwanzaa is about the first fruits or the harvest, bringing all the different pieces together and demonstrating that life is good, that life is meant to be good, that spirit is always present, and that this good is not just for one individual, it is for all of us. And so Ernest Holmes reminds us of this. There is no individual good. Good belongs to everyone. Good fulfills itself only as it multiplies itself. Therefore, There is no good that belongs to you and you alone. There is no final peace to us only as individuals. The watchword is not exclusion, but inclusion. And the more good we release, the more good we experience. My hope for you is that in 2023, you released more good than you can contain in your own individual experience, and that you can see the difference in December of 2023 compared to January of 2023, and that you can join me in celebrating the emergence of an amazing place called CSLDallas. And if you, like me, believe in the principles we teach and are in alignment with the purpose that we have claimed for ourselves, then I invite you to say it with me, our purpose statements, 3 times. We are radically inclusive, spiritually progressive, transforming lives. We are radically inclusive, spiritually progressive, transforming lives. We are radically inclusive, spiritually progressive, transforming lives, and so it is.